Hello everyone, welcome back to Atreyu Crochet. So in today's video we are going to be making this absolutely beautiful scarf. I'm very excited, and yeah, I'm going to show you one way, which is especially for beginners. But then if you want to challenge yourself just a little bit more, this is talking to the beginners, then I suggest you continue on in the video and do what I do next after we complete the main scarf. So, that being said, things you will need include one skein of yarn. This is going to be my main color, this darker color. I love this yarn. I got it from Hobby Lobby. It is metallic. I couldn't find it online, so maybe you can go to Hobby Lobby or find a yarn that you like, okay? You only need one skein if you are going to do the first part of this video. If you want to challenge yourself, beginners, then you'll just need a second skein, okay? And we're not even going to use much of it. It's just to kind of add a nice little effect. This is a medium 4 yarn, and it calls for a crochet hook of size 5.5 millimeter. That is US. Normally I would use maybe like a 6 or 6.5, but I have been working on a little swatch, and I happen to be using a 7 millimeter US crochet hook, so I'm going to use the 7 for this because I like the way that turned out. You will also need a pair of scissors, as always, and a darning weaving tapestry needle to weave in the tails. Let's get started. So we're going to start with a slip knot. You're going to wrap it around your finger like that. Twist, exchange. Pull this over your finger like that. We're going to pull this one over that one and off your finger while lifting up on the one that's still on your finger. We're going to insert our size. For me, 7 millimeter. It could be 5.5 for you or something in between. Into the loop like that and pull to tighten. Whenever you're making a scarf or a blanket or something square rectangular, and you're going to have to chain out a certain number of stitches, you always want to figure out what the multiple is, okay? So for this scarf, it's a multiple of 3 plus 2, okay? So you decide how many chains you first want to make the width, the main width of the scarf in this case. Let's see, 3 times 1, definitely not enough. 3 times 2, that's 6. No. 3 times 3, 9. No. Alright, I think I'm going to go 3 times 6. That'll be 18. And then plus 2 more, that'll be 20. So that's what I'm going to do. So 3 times 6, 1. And I'll crochet these 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Make sure you're not making them too tight because remember you're going to have to enter them soon. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Alright, so we have our 18 chains. Now, so that's the multiple of 3, right? 3 times 6 is 18. Now we have the 2. 1 and 2. So we have a total of 20 chains. If you wanted to make it shorter, you could have done, and when I say shorter, I mean narrower, not as wide. You could have done 3 times 5, which is 15, plus 2, which is 17. Okay? Alright, so I have my 18 plus 2, 20 chains, and now I'm going to work a double crochet in the 8th chain from the hook. So here's the hook, and then this is the first chain from the hook, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th chain from the hook. Okay, so I'm going to mark that with my thumb, and that's where I'm going to put my double crochet. When you make double crochets, you always yarn over first. Alright. But this is not just any double crochet. This is a double crochet 3 together, also known as a cluster, okay? So you'll see how it's going to be different, but we started the same. We yarn over, and now we enter that 8th chain away from the hook. like to get 2 loops. Okay, yarn over, pull through to the front. That leaves us with 3 loops. Yarn over, go through 2. 1, 2. Now before completing this double crochet, we are going to start another one. So yarn over, re-enter that same chain, yarn over, pull through to the front. Now we have 4 loops on our crochet hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over, go through 2. 1, 2. If we were making a double crochet 2 together, we would stop here. But I think I said at least, a double crochet 3 together. Okay, so we need to do what we've just done twice. We need to do it one more time. So we get 3 bodies. Right now we only have 2 bodies. Okay, so yarn over, re-enter that same chain, yarn over, pull through to the front. We have 5 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over, go through 2. 1, 2. That's going to leave us with 4 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to yarn over and go through everything. Go through all 4 like that. Okay? Now you might be wondering, why did you leave so many chains? Now there's 7 available chains because we worked in the 8th chain from the hook when it was there. The reason is because each of these double crochet 3 together stitches or clusters are going to be separated by a chain 2 space or 2 chains. So that includes at the end. Okay, there are going to be 3 chains here. These 3 chains will count as a double crochet, and then there's the chain 2 right there creating the space that you see. Okay, so that's why we created a cluster or a double crochet 3 together in the 8th chain from the hook when the hook was there. Now if you're wondering, what about these 2 remaining chains? Well, whenever there's a space up top, you also want to create that same distance, that same space below, as you're going to see. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, and then we worked in the 8th chain. Alright, so chain 2, 1, 2. Skip 2. If you're wondering what's the next chain, well, look where your stitches are. They're in that chain, so this is the next chain. So skip 1, skip 2, and then this 3rd chain away, that's where we're going to put our next cluster stitch, or our next double crochet 3 together. Because it's still a double crochet, albeit a double crochet 3 together, we always yarn over before entering the stitch. Now we'll enter the chain, so get the stitch marker out of the way. Like I said, you can get 1 loop, but I prefer to get 2 loops on there. I say it's more meaty, even though obviously it's yarn, but you know what I mean. Alright, yarn over, pull through to the front, 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2. Repeat, yarn over, re-enter the chain, yarn over, pull through to the front. We have 4 loops on our hook. Yarn over, go through only the first 2. Repeat, because this is a double crochet 3 together. Yarn over, re-enter that same chain, yarn over, pull through to the front. Now we have 5 loops on our crochet hook. Yarn over, go through only the first 2. That's going to leave us with 4 loops. Yarn over, and we're going to go through all 4 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Okay. Chain 2. Whenever you chain 2, you're going to skip 2. So skip 1, skip 2, and this 3rd one there, that's where our next cluster is going to go. So we just keep repeating until we get down to the last 3 chains. Okay. 4 loops, yarn over, go through everything. Okay, chain 2, 1, 2. Skip 2, 1, 2. And this 3rd one, that's where we're going to put the next cluster. 1, yarn over, go back in there, go through 2, yarn over, go back in there for the 3rd and final one. Yarn over, go through 2. That'll leave us with 4 loops. Yarn over, go through everything. Chain 2, 1, 2. Okay. Now we're down to those last 3 chains, 1, 2, 3. And so we're just going to put a double crochet in that last chain. So we skip 1, skip 2, and put a double crochet in the last chain. Like that. Now you might be wondering, why didn't we put a double crochet 3 together down there as well? Well, look at the front. Look at the beginning of the row. We don't have one there, right? We couldn't, because it's made of chains. So we always want to maintain symmetry when possible. At least I do. I love symmetry. Alright, so now we're going to chain 1. Okay, you see that chain is coming out of that last stitch of this row. This is foundation row number 1. We have 2 of them, okay? So that chain is coming out of there. We're going to turn our work, and now that last stitch, that double crochet is the first stitch of this row. We're going to put a single crochet right in there, okay? So enter, yarn over, pull through to the front, and make a single crochet. Now in this chain 2 space, we're just going to put 2 single crochets. So 1, go back in there for 2. Alright, now we're going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch across. Okay, so here's the cluster. You might be wondering, where's the top? Well, it's easy to identify when looking from the top, right? See it right there? It's very visible that that's the top. Okay, but there's even an easier way to find it. Just pull a little bit to the left, okay, and you'll see that little space there. See the little gap there? That's where you'll insert your crochet hook, because that's the top. And then if I give you the aerial view, you see it's confirmed that is actually the top. Make your single crochet. Alright, now we're back to another chain 2 space, so we put 1 single crochet in there for 1 chain, and then a second single crochet in that chain 2 space for the second chain. Now we're back to another cluster. Pull a little bit, see the gap there. Insert your hook, it is the top, okay, and make your single crochet. Another chain 2 space, so 2 more single crochets in the chain 2 space. Notice that when I make the single crochet, I don't yarn over first, I just enter the stitch. Pull, there's the gap right there, slice the icing off the top of the cake, make my single crochet. Another chain 2 space, so 2 single crochets, 1, 2. Pull, there's the gap, slice the icing off the top of the cake, single crochet, okay? And remember, I told you the reason that we left so many chains available is because 2 chains at the top are to create that chain 2 space, okay? So we know we're going to put 2 single crochets in there, 1 and then 2, okay? And then we're going to put our final single crochet in that 3rd chain, okay? So we have a single crochet for 1 chain, another single crochet for a 2nd chain, and in that very next chain, that 3rd chain, we're going to make a single crochet. So just enter it, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, okay? And that is what we have. Alright, so we just completed foundation row number 2. So foundation row number 2 is always just a row of single crochets, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch. Whether it's the chain 2 space, in which you put 2 single crochets in that chain 2 space, or whether it's the cluster stitch. Remember, even though the cluster stitch has 3 bodies, or the double crochet 3 together has 3 bodies, it only counts as 1 stitch, which is why we only put 1 single crochet in it every time, okay? So there we put 1, there we put 1, there we put 1 single crochet, and there we put 1 single crochet. Alright, so those are our foundation rows. Now it's time to get to the repeats. Okay, so you're going to repeat the next 2 rows to finish off this scarf. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Turn your work. In that same stitch that chain 3 is coming out of, that same first stitch, we're going to put a double crochet. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, to create that chain 2 space. We're going to skip 2, so we skip 2 single crochets, skip 1, skip 2, and that takes us to that one. And lo and behold, you see that that's the single crochet that corresponds to the double crochet 3 together, or the cluster stitch there. So that's where we're going to put our next double crochet 2 together. Okay, so yarn over, skip 1, skip 2, and in 3 we'll slice the icing off the top of the cake. Yarn over, pull through to the front, 3 loops, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, go through 2. Remember, this is a cluster stitch, so don't close it off, don't finish that double crochet yet, re-enter it. Yarn over, re-enter the stitch, and that's 2. Yarn over, re-enter the stitch, that's 3. We have 4 loops, yarn over, go through everything. Chain 2, 1, 2. Skip 2, skip 1, skip 2, takes us to the single crochet that's in the double crochet 3 together, or the cluster stitch down there. and that's where we're going to put our next double crochet 3 together. Yarn over, slice the icing off the top of the cake, yarn over, pull through to the front, 3 loops. Okay, that's 1, back in there, repeat for 2, back in there, repeat for 3. That leaves us with 4 loops, yarn over, and let me just tell you newbies, an easy way to make sure you get through all 4 loops is to make sure your crochet hook is not like that, but like that, and then you just go through seamlessly. Okay, what do we do next? Yes, chain 2, 1, 2, skip 2, skip 1, skip 2, and go to the single crochet that's there just above the double crochet 3 together there, and we make a double crochet 3 together. Okay, and once you get going, you won't need to count the number of stitches that you're skipping. 1, 2, you'll just be able to immediately go to that single crochet because it's the one that's above the double crochet 3 together. Okay, like that. One more time, chain 2, 1, 2. All right, and then I'm going to count this time just to prove a point. So skip 1, skip 2, so we chain 2, 1, 2, and we skip 1, skip 2, and in that final single crochet there, that's where we're going to put a double crochet 2 together, you guys. So yarn over, slice the icing off the top of the final stitch, that final single crochet on the end, yarn over, pull through to the front, 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, re-enter, and do it again, yarn over, go through 2. Because this is a double crochet 2 together and not a double crochet 3 together, we're done. We have 2 bodies, 1, 2. So all we need to do is crochet these 2 together now. So yarn over and go through the 3 remaining loops. Okay. And if you're wondering why we did a double crochet 2 together there, well, think about what we did at the beginning, and also remember the fact that I love symmetry. Here you have that chain 3 that can't be avoided. Okay, and it just looks more solid and better to have a stitch there, double crochet. So it kind of looks like 2 stitches are there, and there really kind of are 2 stitches there if you count the chain 3. So to kind of make it match, I decided to have us make a double crochet 2 together, even though it's only 1 stitch, as is evidenced by this one top right there for those 2 bodies. Alright, so you're going to repeat that, and now you're going to repeat this row, row 2. So chain 1, turn your work, and just put a single crochet in every stitch. Don't forget the very first stitch, okay? And that double crochet 2 together. Remember, all the chain 2 spaces are just going to get 2 single crochets. 1, 2. Cluster or double crochet 3 together. Remember to pull, you see the hole there, and that's where you put your single crochet. Chain 2 space. 1, 2. Cluster or double crochet 3 together, pull in that corner. You see it's the top, single crochet. Chain 2 space. 1, 2. Remember, you guys can slow this down. Okay? Cluster or double crochet 3 together, pull. Oh, there it is. Okay, single crochet. Chain 2 space. 1, back in there for 2. Here's another cluster, double crochet 3 together, pull in that corner. Okay, and then chain 2 space. 1, 2. Alright, now for this one, there's the double crochet, okay, but to keep our scarf nice and square, I want you to bypass the double crochet. So don't put the single crochet in the double crochet, put the single crochet in the top chain of that chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, we'll go in there, get in that chain, and then that's where we're going to put our single crochet. And that makes it nice and square, okay? So those 2 rows, you guys, those are going to be the only 2 rows that you're going to need to complete this scarf. Since now it's time to go back to row 1 that we're repeating, we know we start out by what? Chaining 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn our work, and remember to put a double crochet in that same first stitch. That tells us that when we get to the other end, it's going to be, we're going to end with a double crochet 2 together over there. Okay. All right, chain 2, 1, 2, skip 2, or you can just look and see, find the single crochet that's above the double crochet 3 together and put a double crochet 3 together there. Okay. These are little things that will speed up the process for you beginners, okay? And you'll just continue like this, okay? So it's really a very easy, beautiful stitch. And of course I'm going to be using the other color. I changed to white because I didn't want to hear you guys, I can't see, it's too dark. You know, it helps if you use lighter color yarn when you're doing tutorial, you know. So to avoid all of that, I switched, but I'm going to now go back to the color that I want to make the scarf out of. And yeah, it's a really easy scarf. You guys can, you know, make this really quickly. And then at the end, I am going to do one last thing to the scarf to kind of enhance it, to add some style to it. You are free to try it. It's not difficult, but I know beginners get intimidated very easily. But I would really like for you guys to try it. And of course, I'm going to be showing you how to do it, giving you, you know, step-by-step detailed instructions as I always do. So you really have nothing to fear. If you're going to try something related to crochet, you might as well try it with me, Atreyu Crochet, right? So yeah, continue working on this. Get it however long you want. And I am going to meet you once I get my desired length. Alright, see you there. Alright, you guys, so I am back. I have crocheted my scarf to the length that I wanted. And just for those of you who are curious, the length is approximately 65 inches, so that's about 165 centimeters. And the width is 4.5 inches, and that's approximately 11.5 centimeters. Okay. I saw my mom today. She saw that I was working on this and told me that this is hers and that she requires a matching hat. So I'm going to leave this much of this yarn available so that I can incorporate it into the hat that I'm going to make for her. Okay. So yeah, I was able to get that length with that width using that multiple, you know, the 3 times 6, which is 18 plus 2, so the 20 chains, and still have this much left over, just to give you an idea. Alright, so now moving back to the white, because that's what everyone can see. I ended with a row of single crochets, right? So now I'm going to chain 1 and cut my yarn. Just imagine that this is the end of the long scarf, okay? And you can always tell, you know, whether you're looking at the front or the back. One, these are the backs of the stitches, but 2, the tail is on the right side, and it started like that because we chained that way. So this is the front. Okay, so now this is the extra part, the part that I say you can do to kind of give your scarf a little bit of finesse, if you will, a little bit of style. And beginners, I don't want you to be afraid of trying this because it really is amazing and it's not as hard as it looks. Okay, so what we're going to do is I am going to crochet a line that goes up like that, across, and then down like that, and then across. Okay, and I chose another lighter color. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. So I'm just going to pick, so here's that like chain 7. There are 2 chains up under there, and then the 3, and then the 2 down there, right? So I'm going to just at the base, so 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go into the one next to it. So here's the 1, here's the 2, here's 3. I'm going to go into the 4. I'm going to just go in there like that. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, and then I'm going to hook the yarn on, pull it through. Guys, I know I said that the file was corrupted, and it was, but I decided to go back and try to recreate what was missing just to make sure you guys understood. So I have the crochet hook in the chain that I had it in the last clip, so make sure your yarn is to the back. Okay, you're gonna yarn over and pull through to the front, and then I said immediately chain one. So with your yarn to the back, just reach through the gap, yarn over, and chain one. Now I'm going to pull to tighten, and that secures this yarn to the white yarn or the work, right? Alright, so now I'm going to chain two. So 1, 2. Okay, that gets me up to the height of that row. Now I get to that first single crochet. This is the single crochet that I was talking about. You can just go in between the stitches, or you can slice the icing off the top of the cake, the first or the single crochet that's closest to the edge. Remember, with these chain two spaces, you always have 2 single crochets, right? So just slice the icing off the top of the cake of the one that's closest to the edge, which in this case that's that one. Reach back there, yarn over, pull through to the front, and slip stitch. Alright, now we're in the next space, the chain two space, so we're going to chain 2 to get ourselves up to the height. So that's 1, go back in there, go to the front, and another slip stitch or chain 2. Now we're at the next single crochet. Remember, always go into the one that's closest to the edge. Okay, and here's the back view. Yarn over, pull through to the front. Okay, now we're in another space, so chain 2, 1, 2, and now we're at the top. Remember, always choose the single crochet that's closest to the edge. That's that one. Move that tail out of the way, yarn over, and pull through. And now we've created a straight line up. And I believe the next clip is where I take you this way, but I'm going to show you one in that direction anyway. So now I go into the next stitch, slicing the icing off the top of the cake, yarn over, and just slip stitch like that. Make my way across. Alright, so that's how you do it, you guys. This is the future talking to the past and the present, something like that. So yeah, let's get back to the video that I recorded first. I think I might have said single crochet somewhere there. I meant slip stitch, to make the slip stitch. Alright, so now we're going to make our way across by crocheting slip stitches, and we're going to go across to the second single crochet, or the single crochet that's closest to the edge there. So this one is one of the 2 that's in the chain 2 space, and this is the second one. So we're going to go over there, and then we're going to make our way down here, and then we're going to go back across so it's symmetrical. Okay, so the top row, this is equivalent to the other end of my scarf. This is easy because we're just making easy slip stitches across. So slice the icing off the top of the cake, yarn over, pull through to the front. Next stitch, slice the icing off the top of the cake, yarn over, pull through to the front. Slice the icing, slip stitch, next one, 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 slip stitch, and then next one, slip stitch. Alright, and this is the last slip stitch that we're going to make on this top row. Okay, so that's what we have. Now it's time to make our way back down. Okay, notice our yarn is still in the back. That's what we want. So we're going to go into the space, reach to the back, pull through to the front, and make a chain or a slip stitch. Okay, do it again because every space gets 2 chains, right? 2 slip stitches. Alright, now you might be wondering, where do I go? Because this is technically the bottom of the single crochet there. Makes no difference, just go in between the 2 single crochets. So there's that space between them, stick your needle through, reach to the back, yarn over, pull through to the front, and make your slip stitch like that. Now we're in that space again, so it's just 2 chains or 2 slip stitches, 1, 2. Okay, now we're at the single crochets again, so go in between them, yarn over, pull through to the front, but do it without splitting your yarn. It's always preferred. Okay. Alright, now we're at the space again. You can just get the tail out of the way, the white tail. Remember, I'm still working with the yarn from the back, so that's 1 and that's 2. Okay, this is what it's looking like so far. Almost done. One more edge. Alright, so now we're going to go into the chain that's right next to the edge, just to get down to the border there, and now we're going to slip stitch across. So just put 1 slip stitch in every stitch below. Here where that double crochet 3 together where the cluster is, just go in the big loop there to make your slip stitch like that. And then for the 2 chains that are in between, just put 1 slip stitch in each one, making your way across. Okay, like that. Doesn't have to be precise, you guys, just make sure it's neat and symmetrical. That's what I care about, as you know, because I'm a symmetry freak. Okay, we're almost done. Just keep making our way across. Make sure it's not too tight. Try to keep a consistent tension so the chains look nice and symmetrical as we make our way across. And this will really enhance your scarf. No one's going to have a scarf that looks like this. I always try to make my designs just a little bit different than anything you've seen others with. Why not, right? Alright. So here's the last one, I think. Yes. Alright, so now, actually I'm going to go in there where I started. I'm going to put 1 more slip stitch just to connect it. Alright, now I'm going to chain 1, cut my yarn, fasten off, and then to the back I'm going to tie a couple of knots between the beginning tail and the ending tail, and then of course you can, weave it in. Alright, but this basically is what you have. Okay, so it's really going to just add a little something to your scarf. And yeah, I'm going to work on my actual scarf using the other yarn, and then I will check back in just to show you what that looks like. You don't have to do this, okay, but I think it will just look really cool if you do. So I'll see you soon. Alright guys, so this is the finished product after I've made the loop around from one tail to the other side. And yeah, I just think that just adding that little border, if you will, can really just enhance the scarf and take it to another level. This also can serve as a reversible scarf because the stitches look slightly different on the back, both the stitches of the main color and also the stitches of these slip stitches. So you see how these look different than those, right? And then obviously the slip stitches look different on the back. So yeah, nice reversible scarf. It's super easy, crochets up fast, and yeah, people are just gonna be like amazed when they see you wearing it. So as I said, I'll be making a hat because my mom has told me that I will be making her a hat to accompany this scarf that she has claimed. So yeah, stay tuned for that video. I've been trying to pump out these scarf videos to give you guys enough time to, make your presents for the holidays. So hopefully I can get out a few more before it's too late. Alright guys, that is going to be it for this video, but I'll see you in the next one. In the meantime, happy crocheting.